So let's take a look at our colored physical map that we have made and answer some questions and make some conclusions about what can we read from these maps. First of all, some basic vocabulary that was presented yesterday in the lecture video. A physical map is one that shows what the Earth actually looks like. The height of whatever the land is called elevation. And because you need a starting point from which to measure all elevation, and that starting point needs to be the same for everybody so we can all fairly compare different lands, all elevation is measured from sea level because the ocean is going to be the same level all over the planet. So question number 1, the height of the land at 35 north and 119 east must be between what numbers? So we're going to go to 35 north, which is this line right here, and 119 east, which is this line right here, and we're going to look at that point. Well, that point is in the light green area, and the light green area is anything between 100 and 200. So that point must be between some elevation of 100 feet and 200 feet. Can't be any higher than that. It can't be any lower than that because then it would be in a different colored area. Could the height at 32 north and 117 east be 350? So let's find where 32 north is. Here's 32 north and 117 east. So we're looking at this point right here. Well, that point there is in the darker green. Well, the darker green was the area between 0 and 100. So this point right there inside the circle could not be 350 because 350 wouldn't be in the dark area. So the answer there is no. Which point is higher up? 34 north, 118 east, or 35 north, 117 east? Well, let's find those points. Here's 34 north, and my 118 east is right here. So I'm looking at this point right there. It seems to be in the orange. 35 north is that line right there, and 117 east, that line right there. I'm looking at this point here. Well, this point is in the brown. This point is in the red. Well, which one of those corresponds to a higher number? Anything that was higher than 400 was colored red. So this point right here is in the red zone, so it's got to be higher than 400. The other point's in the brown, and that's only things from 300 to 400. So the point in the red is higher up. So that point right there is going to be higher up than the other one. Which point is in deeper water? Remember that the land under the water has a shape to it. And we use a bathymetric map to show what the land under the water looks like. So let's look at a couple of points. We've got 35 north, once again this line right here, and 121 east, which is this line right here. So we're going to look at that point there as one of them. That's that point. 31 north would be this line right here. 121 east would be that point right there. The question is, which one is in deeper water? Well, the depth of the water was described by different colors of blue. The lighter the blue, the shallower the water. So the point up here at the top is in the lightest color blue. It's in the most shallow water. This point down here is in a darker blue. It's water between 200 and 300 feet deep. So that's the point that's in deeper water. What is the elevation for 33 north and 118 east? So let's go to 33 north, this line right here. 118 east is this line right here. So it looks like that point is in the light green area. So the question is, what could the elevation be? Well, anything light green is 100 to 200. Now, we don't know what the exact elevation of that point is. If you wanted to estimate and say it was exactly halfway between the 100, 200 lines, you could say it was 250, but all we know is that it's somewhere between 100 and 200. These physical maps don't necessarily give you an exact value, they just kind of give you an idea of what the elevation is. Make an estimate for the elevation at 35 north and 118 east. Well, 35 north is this line right here. 118 east, this line right here. So it's in that area there. It's kind of in that orangey colored. Well, anything inside that area is 200 to 300 in height. If you want to say it's halfway in between and say, you know what, I'm going to split the difference and say it's 250, that's fine, because that's a number that falls within that range. We're estimating it's somewhere around 250. Is a location for 32 north, 120 east on the land or in the water. So let's go to 32 north. That line there covers some land, or it goes across some land, and it goes across some water, then it goes back across the land and back into the water. So if I know I'm on that line for 32 north, am I in the land or in the water? Well, we got to go to the other point here, 120 east. We see that that point is in the water, because where those latitude, longitude lines meet, you're in light blue, and light blue means you're in the water. So we want to build a cell phone tower, and we know that cell phone towers really need to go up on top of high ground. That way the signal gets broadcast to a wider area and you don't have those dead zones. So I'm in a cell phone company and my customers complaining I don't have good coverage in the area in this map. Where can I put a cell phone tower where the signal is going to be high up and hit everybody? So I'm looking at this map and I got a couple people that want to sell me a plot of land for my cell phone tower. So let's look at this one here first. 34.5 north. Oh, 34. Well, that's 34 and that's 35. 34.5 is going to be somewhere along here. 117 and a half east. Well, here we got 117, here we got 118, so 117.5 is going to be somewhere in there. So that's the first choice. A guy up there wants to sell me his land for a cell phone tower. But I got another customer that's going to sell me land here at 31.5 north along that line, or 116.5 east, right in there. So I got these two people that want to sell me a cell phone tower. I want the cell phone tower to be at high ground. You can see that the area up here is much higher ground. I'd be much better off buying that location for my cell phone tower. So that's going to be a better spot, and I can tell from the map because it's on higher ground. Okay, so places where you get a lot of colors close together means you have a lot of different elevations, or the land is changing elevation. It's getting very, very steep. So we can look at a map and not just tell what the elevation is, but we can tell what the land is doing. Is it flat, or is the elevation going up? So let's look at 2 points here. 31.5 north. Going to be along this line here, roughly, and 117.5. Look at that point right there. Or we've got 33 north and 118. So let's look at these 2 points here. Well, this point here is all solid green, and there's no other color even close by. It's pretty much just solid green. So that means that all the land is in that same elevation range and it's not changing very much. At this point right here, you can see we go from red to brown to orange to light green to dark green in a very short period. So where you have a lot of changes in colors means you have a lot of changes in the land height, or a lot of changes in elevation. So the place where the land is steeper is that one there, because there's lots of lines, there's lots of colors, there's lots of change in elevation. So I'm looking at this and I want to build a harbor. I want to build a marina. This is land that's all along the water, but I need some deep water. Otherwise, my boats are going to run aground. So I'm looking for a place to put my harbor and my marina, and I've got a couple people that want to sell me some land, and I got to decide which one's the better one for my harbor. So we're going to check out these two locations. 35 north would be along this line here, and 120 east would be along this line here. So we've got a spot right there, and it's on the water. Let's go to the other location. It's 32 north and 118.7. So I'm going to say it's like right about in there. Which one's better for marina? Remember, I need deeper water. Well, up here, all we've got is light blue water. We've got shallow water, and the whole area is all light blue, meaning the depth of the water is not changing much at all, so it's all going to be really shallow. Whereas this point over here, it goes from light blue to a darker blue pretty quickly. That means the water's getting deeper. Well, that's a much better choice for me to build my marina, and I can tell that from the map. So that's better because I'm closer to deeper water. So an extension question here. Could the highest point on this map be a 700-foot tall mountain? And explain why or why not. Well, this map tells us how high the land is. And I've got a number here that says 400. So everything in this orange area is higher than 400. The question is, can the highest point in there be the top of a 700-foot mountain? The answer is no, because notice that each line goes up by 100. So inside of that orange area, if you got to 500 feet, if the land got that high, you would have another color, because each color represents a change of 100. So inside this orange area here, there must not be anything higher than 499. Because if you had some place that was 500, you'd have to have a new color, because each 100 feet makes a new color.